What is going on, you beautiful bastards? I'm Brandon Sylvia. This is my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about what I have been playing as of late, the last couple weeks or so. Going to try to do these like one every other week or so, or just kind of whenever there's enough variety of games out or games that I'm playing to talk about to, make a 25-minute video or so. And there are two new releases that I'm dying to talk about. One that I've finished, one I'm still playing right now and I'm absolutely loving. And we're going to be diving into Dragon Age 2 as well. Everything will be listed down below in the timestamps so you can sift through that as you wish. What we got to talk about right up front, right out of the gate, is Rollerdrome. This game is fucking incredible. I've only played like the first 4 hours or so. I just binged the hell out of it. It's only been out for a day as of recording this, and I played through it from like 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Just so addictive, so fun. It really does capture like the mind of, whenever we were kids playing Tony Hawk and you're pulling off these insane moves. And the idea of just introducing weapons into that system and having other players where you have that control schematic, you have the same control mechanics of a Tony Hawk game, but you have weapons and a max pain slowdown meter, and it's this competition. The general setup of the game is that it's like near future 2030, and there is this new blood sport being broadcasted, and millions of people are tuning in to watch these motherfuckers roll around on these skates shooting each other, and it's just kind of taken the world by storm, and you are a participant in this sort of event. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're zipping around on your skates with your gun in hand, you're blasting dudes, you're doing backflip, slow down shots, and grinding across walls. It's just easily one of the most addictive gameplay loops I've played all year. Probably the most like instantly addictive gameplay loops, instantly satisfying, and it's just a real blast. It's harkening back to the days of, it makes you feel like it's in that kind of 6th generation, super innovative, just very, very creative. You can feel the creativity oozing out of this game, from the art style to the mechanics to just the general idea of combining Twisted Metal with Tony Hawk, with the Max Payne slowdown mechanic, and then with this kind of Sable inspired art style. It's just a really, really cool game, and for $30 or whatever, I would highly recommend checking it out. And there's so many just little, like, very subtle but very brilliant design choices here, like the fact that you don't have to tap X or hold the analog stick up to continue on a forward motion. You press up on the analog stick one time and your character is in constant forward motion from that point on. So everything else in this battle arena is all about focusing on the right time to dodge whenever the sniper's lined up with you, and you got to pull off the dodge at the right time. Or, once again, talking about pulling off those 180 slowdown shots and figuring out which weapon you need to switch to on the fly. You might need to pull out your grenade launcher because you're dealing with an enemy that's not going to be as affected, that the damage isn't really going to be done if you shoot him with your shotgun or your pistols. You need to hit him with a grenade launcher so that his riot gear will he'll kind of drop the riot gear for a second, and you can take advantage of him as he is weakened. And there's just so much going on at all times. So it was really brilliant for them to figure out how to work around getting rid of some of those unnecessary elements, like falling, for instance. You never fall. It's just not the point of this game at all. They're going for that constant frenetic action. They don't want the pace to come crawling to a halt for you to, slowly get back up and get back into motion. It wants you to be in constant forward, fast-paced motion the whole time. And you look at the game and you're like, okay, a nice little indie roller skater with different shooting mechanics. And on the surface, that is what the game is. And, by and large, that's what the game is. But there's the little small details here that really do make this game so special and so unique. Like even just the way they set up levels and the way that they position enemies, and they'll give you this list of objectives, and like say one is to pull off a wall grind over a gap and take out an enemy in air while you're pulling off the wall grind. And the enemy will be placed, right where they need to be placed for you to pull that off. While the game is not challenging, I wouldn't say, or at least to where I'm at right now. I think I am about to be in the semifinals. I have 2 more levels left to go. I'll put in a little screenshot of where I'm at in the game right now, but I have 2 more levels left to go. I think I have 6 total environments. And that's the other thing. The progression system here is so good because you're constantly from level to level. You're getting a brand new arena to go and explore. You're getting brand new enemy types to battle and take on. And the enemies are, you're constantly having to adjust to different attack patterns from these enemies. And you're having to learn what they do and learning how to kind of circumvent that, or how to get around and find the little loopholes to, like I said, the enemies with the riot gear. You're going to need to use the grenade launcher for them. Some of the enemies can teleport. You might need to use your pistols for them because it sends off quicker shots, and you can get rid of them and get their health lowered a lot faster. And then it does have that thing of, the Tony Hawk games where it gives you the general layout of the game, the general progression of the game, where, you complete one stage, go on to the next. But then at the end, if you don't have enough of the unlockables, if you haven't completed enough of the objectives, you'll have to go back to the levels and really kind of perfect your craft and, have some trial and error. And, okay, well, I got to pull off this move. How exactly do I pull off this move? Okay, I need to collect all these items. Where exactly are all these items? Let me kind of explore this level to get more familiarized with it. So it's offering a tremendous amount of replayability. And for, people who are completionists, there's you get ranked or rated after each level from D to S. So for people who are really militant about trying to get those S ranks, and like the Devil May Cry games or the Resident Evil games, and they like that kind of progression system as well, it offers that here. So you get your objectives for your progression systems, you get the new levels, the new enemies for your progression systems, but you also get like a grade system. So it's just giving you a ton of incentive to keep going no matter which type of gamer you really are. I just got finished with this sick ass boss fight that I didn't know we were going to have boss fights in this game, but there's this sick ass almost Shadow of the Colossus inspired boss fight with this mech spider. And the spider, he will come, or the spider will come and try to attack you, and it'll try to stomp down on you with its legs. And then when it stomps down, if you avoid it, you can ride up the leg, gain air, and then try to shoot the different spots on the spider's back to take out the spider. And it really does kind of have that blend of the Shadow of the Colossus style boss fights in this awesome ass rollerblading game. And Roll 7 really did something special here. They really did something special here, and the game might fall apart in the latter half, but I seriously doubt it. Each level, each time I progress, I'm feeling more inclined to keep playing, and I think that this is for sure their best game by a mile. I like Ollie Ollie 1 and 2. I still have to play Ollie Ollie World. I've heard really good things about that, but hands down, the best thing from them I've played so far, and easily one of my favorite games of 2022. I'm dying to get back to playing this and to seeing what else they can add, what other new mechanics, what other new weapons. And that's another thing, you're getting new weapons with these different levels as you're progressing. So you're constantly being rewarded and drip fed new things to interact with, new content to engage with. It's really, really fun. And the other new release that I've been playing, and I have finished this one, is Cult of the Lamb. And this is that roguelite title with kind of the Sims-esque cult management and base building and all that. It's developed by Massive Monster, but the reason I really wanted to dive into this and check it out was because of Devolver's involvement. And usually they don't publish just total garbage. So I was like, let me check this out and see what it's about. I saw it getting a bunch of good reviews, and I was interested. I was interested to see if it lived up to the hype. And for me, I thought it was a pretty solid game. I definitely, it's a good game overall. It's just maybe not a me style of game, and I should have known that going into it. I'm not the biggest fan of, management style of games. I'm not the biggest fan of base building and keeping up, like, with The Sims or something like that. I really don't care to feed you and make sure you're going to the bathroom and surviving and then getting a job. Like, I don't care about a lot of those elements. And I will at least say the humor with how that is introduced here in Cult of the Lamb is fun, and it's a little bit more fun to engage with your cultist members. And just the whole process of, like, saving these little creatures or beings or whatever, and like recruiting them to your cult, it's so fun. Like, once you free them and indoctrinate them, you can kind of create their character and give them a name and give them a task to perform for your cult. It's cute for sure. Those elements of the game are cute, even if they are a little bit tedious. And the more you play the game and the longer you get into it, at least for me, I was like, okay, let me find the most beneficial way to have these cultists taken care of whenever I'm not here, so I'm really not having to worry about you at all. Let me go and buy an outhouse. Let me go and buy, a little farm thing and different things to where you guys can, plant these different seeds and you can have food growing for you. That way I'm not sitting there having to micromanage every single move that you all are doing, and I can just go off into these different battles, because I think I probably put about 11 hours into the game, and by about hour 4 or 5, I was pretty much tired of and done with all of the micromanaging in my little cult. I saw what I needed to see in the early hours, and I was like, okay, that is really cool, and it's really cute. It's fun to engage with those elements, and some of those mechanics are, cool whenever you're going off and you're fishing and you're bringing the fish back to your group, and then you're having to cook for for your cult, and you're making these meals for them, and you're going and performing the rituals, and you can like sacrifice different cult members. And like, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's not very creative and very unique, but I did feel like it got to a point where it's like, I really don't want to keep doing this. I would much prefer to just kind of be in the battles and, kind of be playing this Hades-esque roguelike style of experience. And I did think the combat was, as simple as it is, it's a very, very simple combat loop, but it's just fun. It's a fun combat loop. All the different sections are designed really well, and the fun boss sections at the end, like it gives you a fun, rewarding progression system. And combining, that with like the creepy, dark kind of satanic imagery, and all the while like controlling this cute character and this very violent character at the same time. Like, I do love the dichotomy there, of having that cute little character in this somewhat, like, I don't even know what style of visuals, almost like a pop-up book sort of aesthetic with the visuals, but it's this cute character, and it's this very, very dark, the imagery is also dark, and the acts that you are having to commit with this character and having to sacrifice your cultist members and stuff. Like, I do really appreciate that dichotomy there. And I also really would have to give the developer credit for never going to the point of annoyance with the micromanaging in your cult to a point where you just are like, okay, F this totally. I'm not going to engage with any of these elements at all, because like I said, there are always enough, like, unique conversations that you're having with your cultist members, or something, endearing enough to keep you coming back to it. But then it will get to at least a point of annoyance to where you can justify like sacrificing one of these members, so it blends that balance really well, where it's like you don't feel so guilty about having to kill one of your cultists. Like if you die in a level, you can get an ability to where you can kill a cultist and like jump back into the boss fight. And so you'll have a lot of not a lot, but you'll have a few cultists throughout your game who are dissenters, and they are trying to, either leave the cult, or spread misinformation, or I guess probably proper information in some regards. But if they're a dissenter, it makes it an easy selection to kill them. So you don't feel like this tyrannical cultist leader, although you probably could become that. And that's, I would assume, the people who really got into it and wanted to micromanage those aspects and have that, Sim style experience of this crazy cult management system. I'm sure there is a lot more fun to be had than I personally engaged with it. But I did have fun with my 10 or so hours. I will say that final boss battle is grueling. It's very, very difficult. I had to knock the damn difficulty down to easy to finish that boss battle, but it's just like one stage after another stage after another stage, and you're having to account for all these different things. And I tried it quite a few times on the regular difficulty, and it would get to a point where I would remember and I would memorize the patterns of like the first two encounters, and then I'd forget the third. And then so like, my health would be wiped out, and then by the time the next encounter comes, like my health's depleted, I'm getting killed, I sacrifice a cultist member, but it's still not enough. And it's just, I'm sure if I went back to it and really tried to study it, you could probably get through it. But I did find that was the only part of the game that I just found like really, really hard. But it's a fun enough little game. I did have fun with Cult of the Lamb. Also, shout out to damn Knucklebones. That was incredibly fun. It's like this little dice-based mini game, and there's some real fun aspects of Cult of the Lamb. I would say for sure worth seeking out on a sale. Okay, and a couple of weeks ago, I finished Dragon Age 2. First time ever playing through Dragon Age 1 and 2. Played them back to back, and I was stoked going into Dragon Age 2. I thought Dragon Age 1 was one of the better stories ever. And I go into Dragon Age 2, and you're immediately met with this new hack and slash style of combat system. And I'm like, hell yes. Please tell me we're getting a Devil May Cry-esque Dragon Age style of game. And so, I'm engaging with these different abilities and pulling off these different moves with my character. And I was like, yes, dude, this is exactly what I want from Dragon Age. Like, I'm not a turn-based gameplay fan. So I was thrilled at this. And then I got into the dialogue, and I got into the different conversation trees. And I was like, oh, man. This is very, very limited, where you have like 3 different prompts that you can select from. You select from like a humorous prompt, a kind of easygoing, nice prompt, and then you select from the evil prompt. Or it's, I don't even know if you would call it evil, but that's kind of how I looked at it. So I almost never selected that, and I was always choosing between the good guy prompt and then the humorous prompt. And I often ended up just going with the humorous one because it was like I don't feel like I'm compelled or care enough to really pick anything, but I just want to see like the funniest thing. What's the funniest dialogue that you have here? And I don't know, it was just unfortunate coming off Dragon Age 1, where it's a game with these winding, long, different dialogue prompts that you can select from, and you know exactly what your character's going to say, and you can build up your dialogue stats through coercion. Like it's a stat that you can, you can keep bumping it up and maxing it out, and I totally maxed that stat out in Dragon Age 1, so it felt like around any corner, any character, any NPC that I ran up against, it was like I was getting rewarded for bumping that stat up, and I could have different ways to settle conflict, or I could have totally different dialogue options that wouldn't have been there if I wouldn't have dedicated my playthrough to upgrading my coercion stat. And so in Dragon Age 2 that doesn't exist. Like you can't even upgrade your dialogue, and so you're just met with and left with these 3 things that you feel like you're, as the main character, you feel like you're not really doing anything to shape this story in any one way or another. It's like they do give you, choices here and there that you have to make, direct choices. But in those in between moments, in just the casual conversation, it seemed like in Dragon Age 1, there were so many just subtle details and little left turns that you could make as the character to send this story down a slightly different direction. But yeah, I don't mean to like totally shit on the game. I do think from a pure mechanics level, I think I like Dragon Age 2 more than 1 with the, the different battle systems and the different abilities. And I just, like I said, I like the hack and slash nature to the combat more than the turn-based stuff in Dragon Age 1. And yeah, that I really do prefer the battle system night and day over the first game. I like, whenever I press a button that it's registering in a timely manner, and it feels like if I'm pressing A to attack, it's actually attacking, or if I'm using my ability, it's actually using that in a, somewhat timely manner. Like it doesn't feel as floaty and kind of waiting and just sort of, with the turn-based stuff, it just takes me out of it as like I press, my button to attack and I, swing my sword and it doesn't connect with the character at all, but it's still registering that I hit him. And like, I don't know, I just can't really get into that. I like a little bit more of a visceral nature to the gameplay. I like to see a character respond a little bit when he gets hit. I like that back and forth dynamic that's provided with real-time action games. But the story and the writing are decent. Like it was a decent enough story to follow along with. It's just hard to get really, really engaged in a story that you don't feel like you're shaping as the main character. And it feels like you have a set destination that you're going to follow, and you can make a few choices along the way, some more meaningful than others, but it feels like it already has a path for you to follow, and you're just kind of going down that path and following it. Doesn't mean that it's a bad path to go down. Like, I like linear games, but when I'm playing a BioWare game, the last thing I'm really expecting is any form of linearity. I do appreciate the maps in Dragon Age 2, a lot easier to follow along with. Like whenever you go to your fast travel setup, it will have a little icon appearing for, which section of the story missions are in which parts of the map, so you know exactly where to go, you know exactly what to do. I think there are really charming companion quests that you're getting to go on. I went through and I played through all the damn companion quests. I thought it was like the quests with Isabella and Meryl. I found all of their companion quests to be really compelling, especially the kind of later stages with Meryl. Like incredibly dark, incredibly just sad, heartbreaking moments in her companion quests. And yeah, once again, I do think the game is solid. It's just, it comes after what I would consider like a 9.6 out of 10 style experience. Like one of the greatest games ever. It comes after that. And it's, maybe an 8.5, which is good. It's almost a 9, really damn good, but it's not a damn 9.6. So it's a good game, but I wouldn't say it's like a all-time great game. And that's a disappointment. And then I've played through Inquisition. Inquisition was the first Dragon Age I played, and I would say my ranking for the Dragon Age games would go 1 or Origins, Inquisition, and then 2. I think Origins is like like I said, high 9s. Inquisition is like a really, really high 8, like 8.9 or 9.0, and then 2 would be 8.3 to 8.6 range, somewhere in there. So yeah, man, that has been it for me. That's what I have been playing over the last couple weeks or so. Drop down in the comments below and let me know what you have been playing. Would love to read through those. Really looking forward to the next couple weeks. Timeisha coming out soon. I've heard good things about that. Gonna dive into that. Saints Row, Midnight Fight Express, that FMV Immortality game, the end of August, coming out with some real bangers. So I'm excited for the rest of the month. And yeah, man, appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.